Well, a major shakeup could be underway on Capitol Hill. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is at risk of losing his job. Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz filed a rare motion to vacate on the House floor last night.
The gentleman will state the form of his resolution.
Declaring the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives to be vacant. Resolved that the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives is hereby declared to be vacant.
Well, the move forces a vote on whether to oust McCarthy as Speaker. Gaetz has criticized McCarthy for working with Democrats to pass bipartisan legislation to fund the government. Nikole Killion is on Capitol Hill following this story for us, has all the latest developments. So, Nikole, will holding on to the speakership is this going to be an uphill battle for McCarthy like almost everything he's done so far as Speaker?
Well, we saw that speaker fight emerge at the beginning of this year, where it took him 15 ballots to finally claim the speakership. And as the speaker often likes to say, he never gives up. So he has made clear that he is ready for this fight. He is not intimidated or deterred by Matt Gaetz's efforts to try to remove him. That being said, you know, this is going to be a numbers game. It's going to come down to the math. The speaker's allies have insisted that the majority of the Republican conference supports him, and so they don't think that his job is in jeopardy. But you do have a handful of Republicans who are starting to get behind Gaetz's measure, and if that happens, then it's likely Democrats may have to weigh in here, and so that's where things could potentially get very tricky.
Could part of that trickiness be McCarthy doing what he's being criticized for, which is reaching out to Democrats for support? I don't imagine Democrats are going to hand their votes over, for nothing.
Yeah, well, that's in part of the issue. We do know that Speaker McCarthy reached out to Leader Jeffries last night. We don't know exactly what was discussed, but at this hour, you do have members of both parties meeting behind closed doors to figure out a pathway forward here. And again, if only a small majority supports this motion to vacate by Gaetz, then Democrats will ultimately be the deciding factor. Now, it's possible that Democrats could also decide to vote present, which then kind of puts the onus on Republicans to make this decision for themselves. Democrats are really wary about getting involved in this Republican infighting or civil war, as they like to call it. But ultimately, a majority is going to be needed for this motion to vacate if it moves forward.
So you keep saying, it's a small faction. How many members are we talking about here, and why do they wield so much power?
Well, it's not so much that they wield power, but certainly influence, in the sense that the margins in the House are so small. The Speaker on any given measure can only afford to lose about 3 or 4 votes. Right now, the number of Republicans who seem inclined to support this motion to vacate is higher than that. We believe it's at least 7. And so therefore, that's where, again, the math gets a little tricky, because if the Speaker's conference doesn't fully back him up and you have this small group that is voting against him, then again, it raises the question on Democrats' role and if they would actually vote to oust the Speaker. There are certainly many Democrats who have gripes and who have concerns with the Speaker, who don't trust his word either, which is why some of these hardline Republicans are also against the Speaker. But, it's just a very complicated dynamic and situation. And right now, the House only has 2 days to try to figure this out and hold a vote on this motion.
What? They can't do anything in 2 days. So how does this unfold? What happens next?
Well, again, they've got 2 days to hold a vote. It's possible procedurally something could happen to block this vote from transpiring. But, that's why these meetings this morning will really be critical. As you see there, a majority vote is needed to oust the Speaker. And the other thing, Anne-Marie, is even if this goes forward, not only would it be unprecedented, but there's not even a consensus right now who the next speaker should be
Right.
if Speaker McCarthy is voted out. Furthermore, McCarthy could also run again. So, that kind of puts us right back to where we were at the beginning of the year. So a lot happening here. There certainly will be a lot of fast-moving developments, I expect, over these next 48 hours. And I'm sure we will continue this conversation many times.
I mean, the way they set it up and the way the new rules are, pretty much any speaker could be vulnerable. So I don't know who would want the job. But McCarthy does. Nikole, thank you.
You bet.